Hey guys, it's Miss Caceres. I'm back again. So, today we're going to be reading the poem or sonnet, which is the type of poem it is, The Drought, written by Amy Helfrich. Here's some background information on Amy Helfrich. The word drought refers to a time of usually dry weather. A drought is not merely a day or two without rain or snow. Instead, it's a dry time that lasts long enough to cause shortages in the water supply. Drought is a particular concern to farmers, and in The Drought Poet, Amy Helfrich explores the impact of drought on one farmer and how he responds to the toll it takes on him and his land. Setting a purpose. Read The Drought several times. Start by reading it at least once to get a general idea of what it's about. Consider what the farmer thinks of his present situation and of the future. Next, reread the poem focusing on its structure as a sonnet. How are the lines grouped? How does each group of lines add to the meaning of the sonnet as a whole? Be sure to read the sonnet aloud to appreciate its rhyme and rhyme scheme. Finally, think about the sonnet's overall effect on readers. Okay, so here we go. As dusk he moves among the dying plains of winter wheat and walks a sharpened pace. To stretch the lives that puddled in his veins, muster up some color in his face, and see what he can salvage from the dust. These seasons' bitterness has starved his grain, and left the soil with nothing but a trust that time will make a friend out of the rain. So now he wanders through the field he's turned, and tilled with care a 20-acre grave, it seems. And yet because his years has learned that often sometimes there's something left to save, he stops to sniff the dusty earth in hands that look for breath inside the broken lands. Now usually at the end of a poem we do a snapping of the fingers instead of an applauding, so thank you very much. Now here's where we would analyze the rhyming scheme. Annotate, use letters to highlight the rhyme scheme. Once we've done that, we need to answer the interpretive question. What kind of sonnet is this? Is this an English or Shakespearean sonnet, or is it an Italian sonnet? What idea is expressed within each group of 4 lines? Now, just before you guys decide to answer this, I thought it would be good if we watched a quick video about rhyme and rhyming scheme in poetry to understand a little deeper of how this works.
Actually, different types of rhyme in poetry. End rhyme is a type of rhyme where the rhyme is at the end of a line of poetry. Let's take a look at an example. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam, I am. Notice how the rhyming words come at the end of each line. This is an example of end rhyme. Another type of rhyme is called internal rhyme. This is a type of rhyme in which the rhyme occurs within a single line of the poem. Let's take a look. Here's a famous example of internal rhyme from Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary. Notice how the 2 words that rhyme, dreary and weary, are within the same line of the poem. Alright, let's take a look at our last type of rhyme. Near rhyme is a type of rhyme that involves sounds that are similar but are not exactly the same, or in other words, are not perfect rhymes. Here's an example of near rhyme. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without words and never stops at all. Notice how the words soul and all are similar sounding words but are not perfect rhymes. This is an example of near rhyme. Got it? All right, let's move on. Rhyme scheme is the pattern of rhyming words at the end of each line of a poem. We label rhyme scheme using letters of the alphabet like A, B, and C. Let's start with an easy example. Roses are red, violets are blue, CGMS is the best, and so are you. Notice how words at the end of each line are labeled with a letter depending on the rhyme scheme. Notice how the word red is labeled with an A, the word blue is labeled with a B, the word best is labeled with a C. However, because the word you rhymes with blue, it is also labeled with a B because it follows that same rhyme scheme. So as you can see, this poem follows an A, B, C, B rhyme scheme.
So I hope that explains a little bit more of how a rhyming scheme works. We're going to be practicing in class as well with other examples, so that way you can easily answer this question. Now we move on to the second one, analyzing sonnets. Annotate, highlight the couplet. Remember we talked about that last time, what the quatrains were and what the couplets were, and if you don't remember, you can always go back to my first video and rewatch that video and get a refreshing in memory, of what that is. Analyze, how does the mood or feeling expressed in the couplet differ from that in the lines above it? Also, you can find a good explanation or an example of that in my video before. So, I hope you guys enjoyed reading The Drought. Once you're done, remember to click that little check sign here, and that way we make sure that you send in your work. Now, something else that we're going to be focusing on today is our research activity, which I'm getting to right now. Here we go. Our research activity consists in the background note. You learned a little bit about droughts. With a partner, in this case, we're going to decide if you guys are going to work alone or if you're going to work in partners. Do research to find out the effects a drought can have on the environment and the economy. Use questions such as, how do droughts affect wheat crops, to guide your search. Record your findings in the graphic organizer below that you see here. You can also do this in your notebook, or if you'd like to do it as a chart in Word document, a Google slide, whichever you're more comfortable with. Now, here's a research tip of when you guys start researching droughts. To help narrow the focus of an internet search, use quotes around a specific phrase. For example, environmental effects of drought, as you can see they're in quotation marks. To quickly find the online definition of a technical word or phrase you're not familiar with, try this tip. Search for define word in quotation marks. For example, define drought. So once you guys have investigated it, done this chart, it's time to connect. Connect on your research. Identify what kind of effects a drought like the one in the poem would have on a farm. Compare your answers with those of your classmates. Do you agree? Why or why not? This is actually going back to the quick start activity where you guys listed out different ways a drought can affect a farmer. So I hope you guys enjoyed the class today. Can't wait to see you next time. Take care. Be safe.